Techno. Hollywood.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Oh my God.
Oh man. What?
It's
What
been
happened?
ages.
Is
What
there
happened?
an explanation? Do we need to say something? Or is
Yeah,
it just...
I think we should say something.
Okay.
Because people are like, the people that are tuning in right now or watching us on YouTube, it's us. It's really us. It's not AI. It's Latif and Tan in the house.
We should just do AI. We don't need us.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the goal. That's the plan. But we still need to establish a brand. But anyways, yeah, we're back.
I like it. You're like, we need a brand first, then we can sit back and AI it all.
It's true. No,
I went on an
back.
AI deep dive. I've learned everything
Really?
about
Okay.
AI. I almost took an AI course. I'm following the Sam Altman beef with the
drama
board
and
all
everything.
that.
Yeah. Maybe we can talk about it in a sec, but maybe let's give it 2 minutes that we basically I just checked actually. It was July was our last episode, was the 21, and this is now 22. And what happened was basically the summer happened, and everyone had their obligations and with travel, holidays, and all that stuff. And then everything just went crazy from that point on, because a lot of touring, and I think you went, and then we wanted to do it with different time zones. I remember I was actually then traveling around the States, and you were in Europe or some shit.
Yeah, we were backwards.
And then it just didn't happen because of we tried one time, I remember, it was technical stuff, and it just faded out. And as these things are, then we tried again. And we talked about it. And I think what we want to do now, that's why we're sort of back. It's like, try to, obviously we can't, as you guys can see, we can't do it on a weekly thing right now, but we want to still continue to do it because I feel it was always fun for us.
We're going to try. See, but I told you, I was like,
yeah, I know.
We miss one and it's over.
It's over. Yeah. Yeah, it's always the same. Like you
got to keep the momentum full on.
That's true. Yeah.
So let's try.
We'll try now, but now there's no more stress. No?
Yeah. We've
I don't
made
think
the
we have
mistakes.
stress anymore. Yeah.
I feel
and now we can just do it. It's almost like the random show. Like we can do it when we feel like it, and then, ideally we do it once a month at least. That's a realistic goal. And and a good goal is also we're gonna be in a couple of weeks. I don't know if you know or you don't know. I guess I'm gonna be back in LA. So
finally.
And then I'm gonna stay there for a couple months, so we have enough time to be in the same room, same vibe. It's also different. I feel like people keep talking about it now after this whole Zoom culture. It feels different. There's a different energy if 2 people or 3 people, whatever, are in one room and just sharing stories and laughter and stuff. I mean, it's okay with technology, but it's not the same, as we know.
No, it's better. It's better vibes together. You don't talk. There's that delay where you talk over each other. I just punch the mic. There's always something that happens.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Did you actually? Are you recording your mic right now? Because
no,
I'm just.
I've never used the backup audio once, so.
Yeah,
I don't even.
You're recording. Yeah, we never used it, but you're recording your dictaphone is running, right?
What dictaphone?
No, there is no. No, this is when we do it. I see. That's how long it was ago. Like when we actually in one room, it's the recorder, the audio recorder. But now you're just recording straight into the software, right?
Straight in, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, like me. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway, good morning, Latif. It's now.
Hello, Big Gates.
7:30 p.m. here in Berlin. It's cold. It's rainy. Can't wait to get out of here.
I'm black now.
Yeah, I know. It's
no more white.
No more white. What happened?
I ran out of white t-shirts. White t-shirts have limited shelf life.
I know. That's why I'm wearing black. So, I mean, I don't even know where to start because this has literally been 3-4 months now of madness. I mean, obviously, I can recall and recap some highlights what happened with my life and with Joplin's career and everything, and I have a few funny stories from around the globe. Obviously,
how about I'll start with a light one and then you can go.
Okay, yeah.
So I went to Chipotle with the kids. I love Chipotle, and they have a kids meal which is $5, and they get a little taco, little quesadilla, and 2 sides or whatever, and this person who is doing the order, I could tell already, just a nightmare. And Vincent comes up my son, and he's like, "Can I get a cheese quesadilla?" And she says, "Chicken?" And he said, "No, cheese." She said, "Chicken?" He said, "Cheese." And then a third time, "Chicken?" He looks at me like, "What's happening?" He doesn't know. He doesn't know. Like, he was like, "Why is this person yelling chicken at me?" And I'm like, "Cheese, cheese." And she makes one, and she goes like this, "Oh, like chuz, like chuh." I'm like, "Okay."
Okay, attitude.
Makes a cheese quesadilla. I'm like, "Can we get 2 quesadillas, 2 cheese quesadillas?" She's like, "It'll be extra." I'm like, "Fine." Makes the second one, brings us to the end. And like, you know how like the second person at Chipotle takes over like the salad part of it?
Of course, yeah.
She like butted in and like said, "No, I got this," and like wanted to like check us out all the way to like make sure we got charged for that extra quesadilla.
Oh,
she like shoved the other girl out of the way.
Yeah.
And then she rang us up, and it was like way more than I thought. And I was like, "That seems high." And she's like, "Yeah, I had to charge you for a whole other kids meal for that extra quesadilla." And it's just like, it's a tortilla like this big with like a little bit of cheese folded in half. It's usually like $1 or something. And she's like, "Yeah, that's like, what it is." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's like $1." And then she's like, "Okay, fine." And then she rings it up again, and it's the same price. She's like, "I did it a different way. It just still comes in the same price." And I'm so mad. I'm like, "Take the quesadilla out of the package and throw it away." And so she took it out of the kids and like tossed it, and I'm like, "Take it off." And then it takes off $5. And my son was like, "What's happening?" I'm like, "Sometimes you gotta stand up for people ripping you off."
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, I get it." I'm like, "Don't worry."
So she wanted to really take it to the very end. That's
she
why
wanted to she wanted to be the one. She just wanted to try to stick it to me.
Wow, because you had an attitude. Yeah,
I
welcome
was chill.
But there's always these Chipotle stories with you. It's funny. Maybe you shouldn't go there. Like, because I remember there was like a line of we have another episode with some story. I feel like one of the first.
I should
episodes.
Stop going there.
I know, like, although it's a good price value and it's fairly healthy, right? I mean,
but the kids, they always ask for In-N-Out Burger or Chipotle, so it's like and then Chipotle is a better option.
Yeah, of course. Anyway. That's what I mean. It's more healthy for that matter.
Society's crumbling. So since we last talked,
I know.
It's actually good that we did this, because there's like a before societal collapse and now after.
Yeah, it's been more division now. There's obviously the Middle East conflict and war, and Ukraine is still going on with Russia. I mean, it's not nice, but we shouldn't talk so negative, and we shouldn't go so political. So let's go lighthearted on the events on the.
No, Chipotle is a sign of societal collapse. You can't get a burrito through the line.
I know, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so so what else is new in LA? Like,
and okay, here's some more boring stuff. Like, I'm
maybe
on
we
decaf.
should start with some. Yeah, because you need coffee, right? You're still on decaf, no caffeine.
No, I have 1 calf and then decaf. No alcohol, no gluten. I've gone full LA. You can't. There's no saving me now.
Okay, I guess we can't hang out anymore when I come back. It's over.
No more eating.
We haven't talked also for months now, I feel. I mean, this is as real as it gets. We're literally catching up now too. That's why I'm trying to figure out like what's going on in LA.
But this is what happens when you get older. You only catch up when you're working now. Like, that's what's so great about this podcast. We're hanging out and we're working.
Exactly. It's like how Joe Rogan, I guess, meets up with his friends. They just hang out and then they catch up and then he records it, right? I mean,
you monetize your friendships.
Yeah, you monetize your friendship. That's a good way. I wish we could monetize something at some point. We'll see.
It will. This will be the biggest podcast.
Yeah, this is the biggest episode
in Berlin.
ever. Yeah, exactly. In Berlin Mitte, which is even smaller. Yeah, so I mean, we were on tour the whole summer. I think what's maybe like, because if people have followed us and a little bit of Joblin's career, of course, we had the second season of Ibiza. And that was kind of interesting because the first one, like 22, was all like really happening. Like the clubs were packed. Everyone was going crazy. Everyone had such a hunger and were thirsty for parties because of the last 2 years of lockdown. It was the first year open after the pandemic, obviously. This year, 23, a little bit mixed. You know, it's interesting. Like sometimes you feel like, in a peak season, we're talking July or August, normally you can't drive around Ibiza. It's like all the roads are blocked. There's lineups everywhere. And for what happened, like, because we were in and out always like every other week, like some of the clubs were super full, some of them, but some of them were also empty, like and some of the days were like that's supposed to be full were emptier, and there was also no explanation to anything because it's the same artist, the same hype, but it was just like a more unplanned people coming in for one weekend a week and then leaving and staying. So there was no continuity. So like a lot of people that I talked to, they were like, wow, this season is really mixed, that sort of showed like that it's a tougher for all of us in the club and an event business. It's a little bit of a tougher year. The people don't have that much money to spend, I guess. And if then they come at different times, there's no more, you can't predict it anymore, like that much. So that was an interesting development in a way. I mean, we were lucky. The places we played were still kind of full and sold out and booked out. But a lot of places were kind of like hurting, So there was a little bit of a sign.
Interesting. So it's not the same. See, so it all comes back. Societal collapse. No one wants to party. It's just not the same.
Yeah,
travel's weird.
Travel's weird. Travel's expensive.
Price is coming down though. Travel price coming down a bit. Yeah, that's what I noticed. Not much.
You
but
feel
a
like flight. You see flights, with flights. You mean? Okay.
Yeah,
flights, I haven't booked my flight to LA, so I hope I'll get a good one. So I mean, that was interesting for us to see. Then of course we had like shows not always in Ibiza. We were back and forth in the States also quite a bit. So the whole summer we had shows. I don't know the last time we chatted a little bit. I mean, I wasn't there, but she was in New York, and we also hit some smaller cities now. Like we were able to like playing in Boston, Washington D.C., San Diego. And interestingly, like I just remember the story for Washington D.C. For some reason, I thought like, hey, Washington D.C. it's the capital. It must be nice, like because in Germany it used to be the capital used to be Bonn. It was very clean before it became Berlin. So we flew in, and even the driver that picked us up was already raving about like how shit Washington D.C. is. And then like you drive into the city. And I mean, I'm used to obviously LA and also there's a homeless problem. There's all kinds of people hanging out. But Washington was kind of like, wow, like it was like pretty rough, in the middle of the city. Yeah. So I was like, and then I was like, how come this is and then also we drove by all the big monuments that you see on TV that you sort of know the monument, all the stuff. And it's the very
pointy one, right?
Yeah. And it's all very close to each other. It's a small city, right?
Yeah.
But then like you look around, like it just like a glimpse on some sort of park or some, and it was like tent city, right? In the middle of the city. Like there was tons of tents and people roaming the streets. On daylight, I went to get a coffee. I wasn't attacked, but it felt like a little bit of a zombie crazy town, and I was like, wow. So I wasn't prepared for that. For some reason in my head, like Washington, the capital, it's all clean fun. Only politicians are here. It's very
everyone's
corporate.
in suits. The last place where they wear suits and ties and bow ties.
That's what I had in my head. It was the first time, and I was like, wow.
I've never been.
Okay, there you go. So you're in for a surprise, let's put it this way. Yeah. And then, of course...
Too much facial hair. They won't let me in.
Yeah, probably. And then we went to Boston the next day, and that's a whole different place. I mean, Boston is like...
Also never been.
It's like Hamburg. It's like so clean. It's so pretty. You can see it's wealthy. It's rich. Of course, there's a big divide, and no one can afford to live in the city anymore. It's very upscale. It's very posh. Like Hamburg in a way. I've had the same. But beautiful buildings, of course, old historical city, and very nice people. Very also because of all the universities, a pretty young city, but also pretty elitarian. Only the felt a lot of rich kids being there, obviously.
Yeah, and tuition's like 60 grand a year.
I know, probably more. So, but then that was good. And the interesting part was these were the first sort of headline shows, meaning we talked about this in the last time. She always played support shows before, playing for Rufus or Monolink or Adriatic and stuff. She also played in Toronto, by the way, in a club that Drake owns called History. Anyways, and then
History.
So yeah, it's called History. It's co-owned by Live Nation and Drake. So Drake's obviously investing in event spaces and with Live Nation, blah blah. Cool place actually. And it had a picture of Aaliyah, of course, and Sade in the dressing rooms, like a huge ass one. Yeah? So
doesn't he have a tattoo of Aaliyah?
I guess so, yeah. And then, anyways, and then for Boston and for Washington, these were like smaller places, 300-400 people, only clubs. And it was sometimes I think one show was during the week, like on a Thursday or something. And that was sort of the first test to see if she could fill up a place like this, like by herself. Like she was the headliner. So she has to draw the people in. But it was sort of a softer scenario and not so much pressure, because we didn't need to have it all filled out. And I would say like it went okay. Like ideally we would have sold out the whole place, everything, but it was like full. It wasn't like a failure where no one showed up. There would have been like shit for us.
It wasn't embarrassing.
It wasn't embarrassing, but it could if there's room to grow. But it also just puts you everything in perspective, because if you're used to playing in full festivals and you open up for a superstar DJ, like you feel like this is your crowd and you're having fun and you do your thing. But the real truth of is how many real tickets or how many people can you really pull, And there was a good learning experience, but they took a risk on us, and we keep that in mind too. Like these promoters, and they said like, let's build it. Like you got to play here, you got to build a profile. Next time, a few hundred people more will show up, and we got to build you into a headliner. And I think this was very important for us to learn, and also to see that you really got to work. Like I'm telling you, to really put. To have people to put seats, to put people into seats, and so to say. And so that was. This was a really good learning for us, for sure.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I mean, those are two great cities to tour to visit to.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, and I haven't been, and it's interesting because I feel like I'm getting to know the States a little bit more and more, which is also interesting because it's not only
it more
New
than
York
me.
and LA. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's like
I've never been to Florida, Boston, DC.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Atlanta.
I've seen like, I think at least 10, 11 cities now in the States, I feel, if not more. Yeah, and it's continuing. We're playing in Arizona, Tempe or whatever, I think in March or April or something, which is...
Yeah, I like how you say Arizona. Arizona.
How do you say in Arizona?
You just drag it out.
Okay.
Arizona,
I guess. Yeah, so then what else was interesting? Yeah, what do you got?
I finally got a new iPhone.
Yeah, wow, I'm getting one next week. The 15?
The 15, it will change your life. The 15
Why?
Pro Max, I went big.
Wow, okay, yeah. I'm not going to get the Max because
it's not even that much bigger. They made it so light where it doesn't like, it's not like heavy in your hand.
Yeah.
I didn't know how, I was on a 12 Pro. I was like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I was in the dark ages.
Really?
Like,
now I have to rethink everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little annoying.
Because of the screen size.
The screen size is better. It's just so fast. Like you can ask Siri to do stuff. Yeah. It just like works better. I love the island at top. I thought it displays stuff and like the little spectrograph when you talk. It's just the best iPhone I've ever had.
Okay, good. Yeah. But I'm not gonna go for the Max because I think the Max is a tad bit too big for me.
It's like, okay. I'll be the big dog in this.
Yeah, I'll be the small and mobile dog.
Yeah, exactly. It was a tough choice, but I'm so happy with it. Like I'm not gonna let myself fall that far behind anymore. I was like, I don't need it. Why buy a phone? Now I'm like, 3 years is too long.
Yeah, okay. It's the same with me. I mean, I have the 12 Pro, but I'm upgrading to 15 now because my battery's gone and it's all that shit now. I need something.
Yeah, so definitely your life is going to change.
Okay, good. Yeah. So,
what if part of our show involves coffee? We can be like, what kind of coffee are you drinking? And then we have like a moment.
No show yet because I'm not drinking coffee yet, but I have.
We're on different time zones.
Yeah. Different times of you getting up, I'm going to bed soon.
What if you bring a drink and be like, what are you drinking? You're like, I'm drinking water.
Yeah, you know what I've been drinking right now? Like, we need to visit your store, the alcohol-free. I've been now ordering like alcohol pentire, whatever it's called, gin with tonics, but it's basically gin without alcohol or like vodka without alcohol. So it tastes like a gin tonic or a vodka soda, but there's no alcohol in it. And it almost tricks your brain. because you think you're actually getting a little bit buzzed, but obviously you don't. But it's like it tastes good. It doesn't taste like the real thing in a way, but also like it's just alcohol. And I had never thought that I would.
What's the brand?
Drink this stuff. It's called Pentire or something.
Pentire?
P-E-N. Yeah, Pentire, and it's all 100% plant based. And it's a little. It's just. I'm getting bored drinking just if I don't want to drink, like you drink water or tea or coffee, right? Or juice or soda.
Yeah.
I don't drink the sugar stuff. I don't like it. I like bitter stuff and sour stuff, and that stuff is
like
really
your personality.
Good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm so sweet. That's why I need to balance it.
I got it.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. I got this. Okay, I'm gonna get some because I love these non-alcoholic spirits.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we're getting
Pentire
old,
gin.
and we're gonna drink non-alcoholic gin and water, but it tastes cool. Like it tastes good, and you can just you hang with everyone. It looks like a long drink, and you just you don't have the hangover.
Yeah, because I enjoy drinking, but sometimes you're out drinking, and then like you've drank like two, because I actually like to drink the beverage, and then like you're two in, and you're like, oh no, this is like the whole night's gone.
It's really good. Like I've been doing this during the week. Yeah,
we'll get a sponsorship.
That's the one thing. Yeah,
the store's like right over here. I'll just go over there and be like, hey, we mentioned you on the podcast. Trust me, it's huge, and you should give us some bottles.
Yeah, let's try it. And then I mean, talking about life-changing stuff. Like I mean, I've been following the career of I told you about this guy way back, like the Fred Again guy, right? The British guy, the Fred Gibson. And now he had like 2 sold out shows in the biggest, not stadium, a huge arena, but like selling 40,000 tickets and stuff, like in Berlin, with not having a real radio hit or anything, but he had like a big streaming hit, and his live show is just like really different and cool. And what it does, like it's very electronic, it's house, but it has these crazy screens. First of all, like it's very Instagrammable. Like first of all, like you have screens, like not like horizontal but vertical screens, like three behind it, so it looks like giant cell phones behind him, and people can just film it there. Then he has people on cell phones singing their stuff, which he sort of cuts in. Then he has like an MPC where he goes crazy in drums. So it's like very.
Do you have video of this I can cut in?
Yeah, there's videos. Okay. I mean, I have personal videos, but there's lots of videos. And the thing is, like, he's bringing like house back, but then he mixes it with drum and bass. Like, when was the last time you heard a drum and bass jungle record? But he
only
makes
by accident one time. I still regret
exactly.
it.
Yeah, no, but he plays it in real time with the chopped up loops and stuff, and that makes it like so cool and different. Then he has different vocal chops. Like it's just a different live show. And I had the chance to later on meet his management because I've known him for a while. And they just told me the story, like how he really, like he's one of the rare stories where a music producer, don't forget, like he wrote and produced #1 records for Ed Sheeran, for Stormzy, for all these more British hip hop and pop acts before.
Yeah.
And then he just decided, you know what, I'm going to do an artist project. And everyone's like, yeah, but that never works, which is true. Like all the biggest producers,
it almost never works. Yeah,
almost never work. Like he's probably a prime example where his artist project is now bigger than his producing and songwriting.
Like Calvin Harris.
Style. Yeah, I guess that's similar. And then, but and it was interesting to hear about how they sort of tackled it and how he specifically wanted to grow from a more underground perspective. He didn't want to do he wanted to be part of a real culture, of the club culture, of the house. That's why he teamed up with like more underground house people and club people to really build his name first and to start from there, start kind of left field and left center, and now be almost in the mainstream. But he's not really mainstream yet because he's not on radio. It's still like a secret thing, but I mean, I think he sold out LA 3 times, also like some 20,000 cap.
Where at?
I forgot now, but it was like he sold out Madison Square Garden and stuff, like in New York and stuff. Like it's crazy. And he played, I think he had a residency for like 3 or 4 nights in LA, like this summer. And it was the biggest thing. And of course, like it's happening more it's probably not going to sell out a stadium in Boston or in in Arizona, but who knows? But in LA,
he's no Joplin, but soon.
yeah, soon, yeah. But basically, but it just shows you like it's interesting how these things can develop out of a left field, more underground field, and of course there's some power behind it, and label and management and marketing. Let's not, but it is based on talent. It is based on a special live show. And he's capturing the essence of the zeitgeist and the moment of combining things together. And he created a new sort of genre and sound. You know, like he basically would film or record people on his iPhone. That's coming back to the iPhone. And then he would take those voice notes and turn them into music. You know, that was his whole spiel, you know. And
that's what people used to do with like a little tape recorder.
Exactly, yeah. But then he would actually take the original recorder of and he's like the big, everywhere he talks about, he's like, I love the compression, which is kind of weird on the other. Like he just lost it. He purposely records stuff on the iPhone and then samples it back and sort of takes the voice note and uses it as the final vocal. We're not talking like demos for the final vocal, because he just loves the sound, the compression.
He gets Adele in the studio. He's like, okay, we're live.
We're live. Record now. Yeah, you still hear the click and stuff. So that was inspiring to see. And then obviously we had like what's also interesting to on a more little business front. We had interesting talks. Like finally now Apple Music has Joplin on their radar. And so we had meetings with them. You know, we get great support from Spotify, and we're thankful for that. But also, Apple is, of course, internationally also important. Everything, and the German Apple team connected with us. We went over to the office and we talked a little bit. And what's interesting with Apple is like they're really on this whole Dolby Atmos thing. You know, like because this is the one thing they have in difference for Spotify, you know, like people who want to listen to everything in Dolby Atmos and everything all with the earpods and all stuff, that's all Dolby Atmos, you know. And I think the whole journey. Then
Can you explain what Dolby Atmos is? Because I have no idea.
Exactly. Yeah. So you should. I thought you knew as an engineer, but I didn't know.
I know Dolby. I drive by the Dolby building all the time. Ray Dolby, he's dead, but
yeah. So Dolby Atmos is basically, in essence, it's like a 3D surround sound system in a way, like what you do is like you mix into, like you would ideally, like a full Dolby Atmos system would have like one sub and 7 other speakers around you in the room, you know, at least 7. You can have Dolby Atmos with more than 7 speakers, but basically what it's a way to mix records and to have 3D sound, meaning that you don't only have the stereo left right, but you can actually place things behind you, in front of you, on top of you, and also you can pan things around. So if you have a Dolby Atmos experience, you sit in the middle of a room, and it's actually mind blowing because, like, especially as an audio guy, like you feel like you're more part of the music, you're embedded into it, and it's like you have to experience it to sort of. Of course, now mind you, not everyone has like a 20 grand Dolby Atmos system at home, but also those earpods, all the Apple stuff,
AirPods.
And also the better AirPods. I mean, sorry, yeah,
but not the AirPods, these old ones, the new ones.
No, not the new ones. They all have Dolby Atmos integrated.
Oh wow!
So if you mix in Dolby Atmos, the people listen in Dolby Atmos already without knowing, you know. So basically, you can mix different. You have more room to mix. Like imagine as a mixer, you had middle left stereo left right, and now you have like 7 other or 10 other binaural mixing spots where you can. So
it's like finally surround sound mixing.
Yeah, but
I've always tried
surround sound. Yeah, always tried. And now it's the big thing. Apparently, Spotify is doing, and it's a movement driven, of course, by Dolby. They want to sell the license, all this stuff, but also like now the cars, the high end all the Mercedes-Benz have Dolby Atmos, the high end luxuries. Now, but
is it like 7.1 or 9.1?
Yeah, it's a 7.1. Yeah, that type of thing. Yeah, 7.1.
But is there actually like a standard? Is it like 9.1s, 11.1?
No, because that's just basically you need at least 5.1, I think.
5.1
for like at least, but and all the good Dolby ones are, from what I hear, it's 7.1. Yeah.
Okay, and that means like 7. You're taking 7 channels to 1, basically. Like
no, that means the 1 is actually for the sub. It's basically there's this middle from my hold on, yeah.
There's that's right. Seven channels and one sub.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So
it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah. But I mean, I was never. I was like, who really needs it? And I heard 3D sound on headphones like 5 years ago. So I was like, yeah, it's a gimmicky. Like they playing with the face, and it just sort of feels weird, whatever. But
I remember I had to mix one song in 5.1 at Bryan Adams' studio, and it was like 2003 or 4, something like that.
Yeah,
and
of course.
There was nothing available to reference, and so I went to A&B Sound. Like, I'm like, I gotta find. I don't even know. I've never listened to anything in 5.1, and the only thing available was like a Limp Bizkit live DVD, which I still have. So it's a DVD audio. It's a DVD that only plays audio, and I had to listen to it to be like, all right, how are the things going?
Yeah, that's with the Blu-ray. You know, the Blu-ray is basically Blu-ray, the disc version of surround sound. You know. So, but now if you're like in a car now, it's perfect environment. Like all the high-end cars are gonna have Dolby Atmos already. Now Sonos is like selling you speakers which are all connected surround, because then they want you to listen to movies, and you know it. Or if you have a movie theater thing at home and you sit there, like the helicopters flying, you know, the things that they fly from all the way in the back, and it feels like they're flying over you, from your head.
How about Sonos works on getting play to work? Like just regular playback.
But I'm just saying, like, so I think Dolby Atmos is definitely, hopefully, I guess, here to stay. But because also I feel like they showed us, of course, they have a perfect room. Then like, okay, listen to this. And then they have like all these classic records, like Marvin Gaye records, What's Going On, or some like Queen records. And they all have been from top engineers mixed into Dolby Atmos. And it's all of a sudden you hear, and I've known this record, everyone knows these records forever. But then you listen to them again, and it's like a new song. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Like you hear the bass line, you feel the finger on the string of the bass, and you're like, wow, I've never heard this. And then it just gets way more space. That's why there's more depth, and you feel more immersed into the music. So I was actually blown away, and I was like, okay. And then they told us, like, you know what you should do, guys? And they said, like, there's not that much electronic music yet, and electronic music is perfect for Dolby Atmos because of all this electronic stuff, blah blah.
Yeah,
and the pads and the strings and on the synth.
We should do the podcast in Dolby Atmos. We could hear the room tone of that sound bouncing off that shirt back there.
Yeah, it's not really, but and then they said, like, and then Apple said, like, don't spend money on marketing or pushing our Apple. Just use the money and pay for a good Dolby mixer, because there are better ones around. There used to be also shit mixers, and the mixers that used to mix for Dolby Atmos were not real mixers. They were like basically tech nerds that just play stuff wherever, but then never had the feeling of music, and they didn't know how to have a punchy kick or beat or whatever. They're not mixing. Now the real mixers, like great mixers, are getting into the Dolby Atmos game, or they're already in it, because it's also extra cash for them, and it's all extra. And that's why if a good mixer now mixes a Dolby Atmos mix, it's really good. Like it's so much.
And what's the monitoring situation in this? Is it like 2 in front, 2 behind, like 5-1?
No, 2 in the
one
front,
in the middle?
one center speaker, left, right, one sub, 2 on the side, and 2 in the back. That's like the normal. Yeah, that's a 7-1, 7-2-1, or whatever it's called. And then, of course, there's the rooms that have like 20 speakers, and it gets even wilder, But with the 7-1, like, you can pretty much do a lot of. And then in the headphone, it sounds pretty good too. Like, you can definitely tell now if you listen on. That's why I went back to an Apple subscription, just to feel it, and also to double check and listen how. So we have now the Joplin album, which basically got released. By the way, that was interesting. In 2 months ago, the third Silver Lake, the one we did in LA, got released, and we had the whole album mixed in Dolby Atmos. That's a big first one for us. And
were you in the control room with the mixer?
No, but because he's in a different city, but he kept sending me stuff, and then I would double check, I would reference it to other Dolby mixers. And so I got into it a little bit, and I was like, okay, this is cool.
How are you, like, so he's sending you a mix, right? Here's a file.
I've got to put it into Logic. I put it into Logic, and any DAW can play back a binaural mix. Okay. And then the headphones sort of give back that Dolby atmosphere. Of course,
which headphones do you use?
You can use anyone's at that point.
Oh, so it works. Oh, okay. You don't need specific headphones?
Yeah. Here's the thing. You need specific headphones. If you're listening to Apple Music, you need the Apple earbuds because they have a Dolby Atmos connection. But if you listen to Dolby mix, it's a special mixed file, like the mixer sends you. You have to put it in Logic on a binaural, and then it converts it into a binaural mix, and then you can use any headphone.
Oh, okay.
So at this point, only really Apple Music users can listen to
and some cars
Dolby Atmos, and some cars, and a little bit of Sonos, and people that have the money and bought a whole Dolby Atmos system for it. So it is a limited market, mind you, but if Spotify and Tidal has Dolby Atmos, or Amazon has Dolby Atmos too already.
Really?
Yeah? So if Spotify, that's the big thing. If they go into Dolby Atmos, then it's game over. Then the rest is all going to be Dolby Atmos from now on. Because it sounds better. It's a better thing, and every one of us will have to invest in mixing. I would probably at some point have to learn to mix in Dolby Atmos. Because if I always
produce in Dolby Atmos,
produce Dolby Atmos, and it gives you a full different opportunity. Of course, you can start I'm just going to start a song with the sound in the back here, floating up to the front for like a half a minute.
Maybe it'll differentiate, because Spotify has so many songs. Maybe it'll be all right, the Dolby search by Dolby Atmos.
Yeah, that's what Apple does. If you go into Apple, there's a whole category. It's a Dolby Atmos category, and they featured us there, And of course, it's an investment first, because a Dolby Atmos mix is not cheap at this point. So it's getting cheap, but it's like paying a mixer to do an extra mix. So it's anywhere from 500 to $2,000 or something, per mix.
But they've already done are they doing it like the way they used to, where they do the left, right? And then they're like, all right, we're done with that.
No, it's a whole different thing.
But let's break it out, and then we're going to put stuff around.
No, because you got to mix it differently with stems. He showed it to me. I was in the Dolby Atmos studio. I thought also, okay, then, some mixers did it like this, just to, okay, here's the Dolby Atmos, give me 5 minutes and just send it left, right. But if you really want to do a good one, you need to have a different approach to it, because.
But do you start with the left, right and do that first? You must still do that.
No, because a lot of the mixer we use, I did the left, right mix, and then I just send him stems. And he recreates the left-right mix in the Dolby Atmos mix already. And that's a whole different matrix, because he starts already to push things. You can't limit it. The bus system works different. There's 30 buses where you can put things to wherever, it's a whole different mindset to mix.
Wow.
So to make it
Give
good.
Dolby credit for always just wedging themselves into shit.
I know, yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing, right?
They just always you're always for 30 years they've been Dolby. No, you need Dolby. Hands up.
I think what they do, like you said, it's I thought Dolby's they always try to find a way to you will need us to make it better, and then they probably spend half their money that they have on marketing, on politics, on getting the right brands and people.
They get old pharmaceutical reps to be like, you go talk to him, tell him his sound is sucks.
Go tell Apple you need Dolby, and now we're all slowly but surely following, because we sort of have to.
We'll see. This could end up the way of the Super Audio CD. Remember those?
Exactly. Yeah, I know. So everyone's, I talk to people, they're like, sounds crap, stereo. People listen on their mono iPhone speaker. That's the other extreme. Of course, people have shitty earbuds, or people listen on their literally a Bluetooth speaker or on their iPhone, on mono. So that's very far away from Dolby, obviously, and Dolby Atmos. But I think to differentiate and to be justified to have a high subscription price, or if all the technology companies are jumping on board, which they seem to do, then it's just becoming the new audio standard, Yeah. Then it's no one's gonna be do a stereo mix anymore in the future. Then
no, you'll kind of have to do it, but it also gives technicians something back in the game, because you almost don't need a regular mix now.
Yeah, yes and no. I feel of course, I think a regular mix, especially for the club world, it's a whole different part. Some clubs still play in mono because they still have a different arrays and stuff. So you need technically for the club music,
they play in mono?
Clubs, because sometimes it's safer so there's no delays and stuff. So a lot of club owners still have a mono signal, but they put it on different speakers, but it's still mono in a way.
So they just sum it. They take the left R and then
they just summit it for some reason.
So you probably have to listen to mono.
Yeah, I do still have to. Like my main thing is still I do a mono compatibility check still.
Like remember the little mono speaker, the little Auratone.
Yeah.
Auratone.
I have an Auratone plugin now. I just turn it on and it simulates the Auratone mono.
It simulates sadness.
Yeah, it simulates. Yeah, exactly. But if it sounds good on Auratone, it's gonna sound good everywhere. You know?
Yeah, Auratone was a little speaker, like looks like a grandma speaker that would sit like in the middle of the console, and you'd press a button and go mono, and you could like listen to your mix back.
Collapses.
Collapse. Yeah. Because sometimes with like a stereo mix, like you would lose, like if the phase was out, or like with drums too, like the phase could get weird if you went to mono. So record the drums, right?
Yeah, and that's got, imagine collapsing. Like if you listen to a Dolby Atmos mix without Dolby Atmos speakers or like headphones, it sounds totally weird.
But you must like so that must be that must be a technical switch. Like the technology needs to know you're not listening in a Dolby Atmos device. Device and switch to like the LR.
Yeah, that's what Apple does. So that's why the song Dolby Atmos mix has to be the exact same millisecond of the stereo mix. Because
who knew that everyone was waiting for us to come back to explain Dolby Atmos?
Yeah, who knew? I mean, sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm very interested in this, obviously.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know who else is. But we'll see. This could be like the future, as we know. And also, like here's now talking about AI in the future and Apple again. You know these new Apple glasses, and they do.
Oh yeah, they look amazing.
Yeah, and they're already coming out now, and of course they're gonna use Dolby Atmos because that's already like with the new headphones. Like you turn your head and you still think the sound is coming from this, so it's the directional. So I think the whole 3D sound thing is definitely going to be a topic in the gaming world, in the goggles and glasses world. You know, like I think that's going to be crucial for the experience of everything. You know,
like, I got these glasses for experience. Check this out.
What is it? Blue
light glasses.
Blue light glasses. Yeah, I can hardly see them.
I thought it was a gimmick, but it's like it totally way less strain on the eyes.
Really?
Plus, I look like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, you do. A little bit like a Jeff Goldblum for poor people.
Oh wow! All right, I'll be a stand-in. I think he's taller than me, but yeah.
Yeah, I've met him.
I've been like so into sleep. Like I have the sleep tracker. I have the glasses. The
so you're becoming even more boring now.
Like
sleeping,
but it's so boring.
You're like a machine now.
No, it's so boring. It's interesting. It's come all the way around.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, see, I get it.
And we're bonding over like non-alcoholic drinks, no caffeine.
No, yeah, sleep. But you look healthy and fit, and then that's very good.
And I read that LeBron's like number one priority is sleep. Like more than anything, he's like, I have to sleep. Yeah. And look at him.
Sleep, as we all know, it's the number one thing you can do to up your health or to damage your health.
I didn't know. Like, and now I feel light. I feel focused. Look how present. Look how this is the best episode of our podcast ever.
For sure.
Out of 22, number 22. And it's only going to get better because tomorrow I'm going to get more sleep. And then the next day I'm going to get more sleep. And then you're going to get more sleep. Not really, but maybe.
I'm trying to sleep. I mean, I think I had Corona again the last 2-3 weeks. I didn't test, but I was coughing for 3 weeks. I was like really feeling sick, but maybe I just had a normal flu. But it's also hard.
RSV.
Like, there's no real tests anymore. Like I didn't bother to get one. But I think a lot around me, everyone had something, and that's why like everyone's sick right now, especially here because the weather's been dreadful and everyone's just like giving the virus to other people. Like, but I think it's.
It's bad.
I'm okay now. Okay, then what happened in the year was I'm just naming you the highlights now that happened. Then we went to Holland, of course, like the yearly ADE. Remember? I think we started a podcast when a year. No, we didn't.
No, it's February, or it was
Okay,
February.
so it wasn't. So ADE, for the people that don't know, it's like the Amsterdam Dance Event. It's the biggest dance music conference. Where I got to meet and hang out with our old friend Troy Sampson. That wanted connect us. He came all the way from Vancouver to Amsterdam, which was quite crazy for like almost a week. He had some meetings there.
I didn't know he wrote some songs.
No, and he's like, but he's very much involved in the dance scene now. As a top liner and songwriter through John Dexter and his team with Reliant Music.
Wow.
And so it was good to hang with my old buddy from Vancouver, like
Golden Child.
Golden Child, and one night we got so wasted because it was so much fun, and we just were hanging out the whole day. And then Joplin had a show, and we just had all the free booze there, and he just let loose, and it was just like the good old times, like two drunk Asians in Amsterdam. And that was really fun. I hope
nice.
His wife doesn't hear the episode. No, anyways, and then
Maria?
Well, no, not Maria. Elaine.
No. What's up, Elaine? I've never met her.
You never met her? Okay, so that's fair enough. Yeah. So and then also Amsterdam showed. It was fully sold out. All the shows, like the whole dance community was there. Like hotel, you can see by the hotel price, like a random shit ass hotel, which normally costs maybe $100 a night, would be up for $400 or $500 a night. It was just because there's so much. There's not enough room. There's so many people coming, but it was interesting for us. We met with the Pioneer people. We met with our booking agents from CAA. We played 2 shows, and you could really feel like, okay, the dance community is such a strong worldwide global community, and I'm really thankful to be part of it, because it's like they stick together. Global. You have all kinds. It's global. It's like you tend to get more and more people in the scene. And what's really, I think it was a good sign for the project. Like a year ago, like in 22, when I came to ADE, it was all brand new, and everyone's, hey, Tan, what are you doing? Like, yeah, I'm involved in this project, managing blah, blah. What's it called? Yeah, Joplin. Okay, never heard of it. Okay, interesting. Yeah, keep my eye out. This year, like people ask me, I'm like, I just had to drop sometimes, not all the name. They're like, yeah, I know Joplin. I heard of her. Yeah, she's cool. Like, so it was okay. Like, and also our booking agent said, like, yeah, she's now arrived officially in the scene. It's still new. She's still a newcomer. It's still early stages, but in the scene, which is a global scene, she's being recognized, and you don't have to explain that much anymore. You just say, like, yeah, I'm involved with the project Joplin. Everyone's like, okay, yeah, I've heard it. I've seen her play here. I like it, or whatever.
Like, pass the salt. Don't like it. Yeah. It's just part of the conversation. It's
part of the. That was a good feeling, I have to say, because
and that's a big win.
Shows you, it's a win, and it's also like, it's a thing that I just recognized later, that you don't have to explain that much, and a lot of the work is done, and it's there, But now it's obviously there's enough challenges to get to the next level and next step, blah blah. But I think the groundwork in our scene is already, the first step is done. The level 1 is sort of done, So that was a good proud moment, for us at Amsterdam. To be recognized.
Another city I need to visit. I've never been to Amsterdam. I want to ride a bike through the canals. And
I think Amsterdam is like, Troy loved it. Like he was blown away by the city, because he's like,
really?
There's obviously, there's legal drugs everywhere, like free weed, like that helps.
That's everywhere. That's the whole.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
that's right. Vancouver, LA also. But for Europe, that's still sort of different, because you have official smoke shops, and you can officially legally go in somewhere and buy it and smoke it on the streets, type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's different than Berlin or Munich or whatever, for that matter. Then of course there's a whole infamous red light district. There's this party scene. It's a sailor city. So there's all these sort of sinful. Yeah. Basically, that's why the harbor, like it's a harbor city,
like with the little hats and the.
Yeah, that's how it's from. That's why the sailors would come in, have a little fun with the ladies, smoke a little weed, and then move on. Like
sailors with the ladies. Is this 1950? Yeah. Like, aren't they Marines? Don't they have? Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm just saying this is the history.
Oh, like there's people who like are not military sailors, like both.
Exactly. Yeah.
People.
This is just. I just said this as a historical throwback.
I know, but it's funny when you insert these English words like the sailors.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
I just picture that, like, that World War II photo where the sailor's like dipping the girl, and times that's what I picture.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But I think.
But it's you and Troy, basically.
It's me and Troy, basically, in our designer clothes. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, so basically, it has a fun vibe, and everything's very. The canals, and it's very although the Dutch people are so tall, everything's very small and tiny and wooden, like. And then
do they have lots of bruises? Around. They like difficult.
They hit the head.
We're tall. Things are small.
Exactly.
Welcome to Amsterdam.
Yeah, hit the head everywhere. I mean, it has a special atmosphere, especially for ADE, because then there's also like a million ravers and tourists and all kinds of people and industry people there. So
Yeah.
it is a special. I think one day you need to actually come to Amsterdam during ADE when we have things going on.
Let's do it next year.
That's
ADE.
that's a
I'll
good
put it in
time.
my
Good time. It's
calendar.
October, always end of October.
Perfect.
And then the next big travel thing that happened was definitely interesting was Asia. So I didn't go to. She played a show in Hong Kong, in Bangkok, and then I went out to Hong Kong for the first time. And our good friend Shiro, shout out to Shiro, he was involved in some projects there, and he had a chance to sort of book us and another big DJ called Guy Gerber.
At some point, Shiro has to come on the podcast because we've mentioned him too much. Like they're going to be like, why do they keep talking?
He's a pretty private person. So
he'll do
I don't know,
he wants to show up.
If we get a little bit bigger, then
no, he needs to get it on the ground floor before we're too big for him.
Exactly. Yeah. No. So Shiro was there, and we were hanging with him, and they took really good care of us. We were staying at the Grand Hyatt with some nice suite. Everyone had a suite and stuff. Like it was luxury. I mean, these hotels in Asia are next level. Anyone, of course, the big brand ones, but even the more boutique design hotels, the way it's next level because it's all brand new.
Did they win? The money. It Asia's the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think compared to like the other hotels, like it's really good. And then this was the first thing. But then what's interesting, I thought, like you go into, this is obviously for me it was new, but if you enter China, right, and Hong Kong, and I was a little bit okay, it's China, you got to be a little bit more conscious about things, and I'm like, okay, and I asked someone, do I need a visa before? Like, no, Hong Kong is fine and stuff. I'm like, okay, you're a tourist, I'm a tourist. You go in then, and then basically you get a landing card. You don't get a stamp, and Hong Kong is also next to Macau, the casino party city, the Las Vegas of China, right? So what they do is like you write down your pass number on the landing card, then they check your passport, and then you're in. Pretty smooth, I have to say, like immigration. And then when you leave the country, they just take the little paper, landing paper again. So technically, you don't have a stamp in your passport. So I was never in China. If
but it's on your record. It's all digital. It's all they swipe it
on their record. But I thought it was interesting. I think they do this for the foreigners, the Americans or the Europeans, so we don't get problems. Like if you're American and you have like a lot of Chinese stamps in your passport, you might be interrogated in the US. It's like, hey, what are you doing in China that much? In a way. So I think they do it preemptive. So you feel like I can come here and go. Of course, they know that you go in and out, but there's no real. There's no stamp so that doesn't cause you any problems.
I think it's so if you disappear in China, then they can be like, he was never here.
Who knows? But I thought that was kind of weird in a way. And then also it's interesting, you go party everywhere. But we had a fantastic time. And a lot of people came, and also like I realized this a little later. I was like, where do we go? Why is this party here? And then I realized, okay, there's been a fintech week that same week where we play, and there was a Bored Ape yacht club party. Like we're talking crypto people.
Oh, crypto.
Yeah, and the crypto guys were partying in Hong Kong. They threw after parties everywhere, and we were part of that whole thing. And they had also the money and the budget to throw these parties. And
do they? I thought crypto's over.
Yeah, but yes and no. But they also still like. I think there's still people that have enough money, enough Ethereum, or collected enough money to sort of have to sort of spend it and put it into the community. Something. I feel, something. Yeah? And
what do we do with this ETH? I don't know. It's party.
It's party, exactly. And also like crypto is on the up. Like I don't know if you followed this week or something. Like it's coming back. Like crypto is coming back. I think it's 40,000 Bitcoin again. Ethereum is up again. Wow. Like everything's up. It's coming back. So anyway, so that was, and that's why I realized, okay, in the club there were like half the people were from LA. some people that I even knew, and I was like, hey, what are you doing here? I'm like, I guess okay, hey, what's up? And that's why, I mean, Hong Kong is still a hub for like financial stuff. Obviously, the crypto stuff, they have a different bank system there where you can do a lot of more flexible stuff in the banking world, let's put it this way. And so I quite learned a lot, and I was like, but it was, the city is so vibrant and so extreme because you have all these like so much.
Your first time?
Yeah, my first time. And also, like, I feel like someone told me, yeah, the most millionaires on the planet live in Hong Kong or whatever. Still, I was like, what? And then the food was amazing. Yeah. And I don't even like Chinese food is not necessarily my favorite food, but then if you eat really good Chinese food, it's amazing. Like the quality. And also you can eat all kinds of food there, obviously in Hong Kong. Like we had probably one of the best sushis and also, of course, some Chinese stuff. And we stayed 5 days there. We saw the city. We went to some traditional market. Yeah, traditional markets. We got to check out. There's a Soho house, of course. There's Art Basel coming now in February. So it's still like, I think like people were sort of scared what's going to happen. And I think it's kind of like as free as it can be under China, but it's a happening place. And I think people go in and out quite a bit. And it's there's definitely also business there. Like I met so many other people, they throw parties there. There are a lot of DJs and artists go in and out there. It's like Shanghai but Hong Kong is still the capital of everything, especially for entertainment and it feels like a New York on crack mixed with Las Vegas based in Asia type of thing.
You were saying like something about like it's watched, and then you said like London.
Yeah, because like the thing is like,
is London safe? You feel?
Yeah, I felt safe, but the thing is like I just thought about like you fly in and you take a cab into the city, and then you have to sort of, it's like on a, what do you call it, like a half island, like a
peninsula
island in essence. Yeah, peninsula, exactly.
Yeah.
So basically you have to go through a tunnel or through a bridge, and that's it. And then there's a lot of locks there on the bridge, and if they want to, they close it down, and then you're stuck on the island, and no one gets in and out type of thing.
Yeah.
So if they want to, like,
they can lock it down with one button.
They can lock it down like with one button, exactly, and then you're done. Like you can't.
It's probably on someone's iPhone, and they press it by accident. Oh shit! What's the pass? Face ID is not working. The bridge is closed. Everyone panics.
Yeah. So I feel like, and you also feel like, as I said, like there's a lot of cameras everywhere. Like, and also there's a lot of police everywhere, and they sort of do their job, but they don't interfere with the party, so to say. I mean, just to give you an example, like this can't be fully legal, but it is, I guess. Like after the party, like around 4 or 5, everyone's like, I'm like, oh, I'm tired. I want to, and they was like, no, it's an after party. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, yeah, come with us with the promoter. And they wanted to show us their Hong Kong. We're like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, I'm hungry. Yeah, there's food. What do? We like, we drive around somewhere in the city, like 5 or 10 minutes. Then there's an old house block. We go through a door. I'm like, this is kind of sketchy. And then we walk down stairs of flights of stairs, like old stairs. And it sort of smells a little bit like damp, and like a little, like you go into a basement basically, right? And we're talking about really steep 2 floors down. I'm like, wow, we're really in the underground now.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden a door opens, and then it's like a movie. Like I mean, in Berlin there were some clubs there, but not on that level. The door opens, and there's a huge space, like a club. We're talking with neon lighting, with like, it looks like a movie set, like all of a sudden there's people there, like everyone's dancing. There's a DJ, very mixed crowd, Westerners and Asians and Chinese. Of course, pretty girls everywhere, and then like food, like we're talking like great, it's just burgers, and I was like, great, and it's like a buffet there, and then we're like, okay, great. I'm like, I'm hungry, and then we just ate there, and then then it's like, and they drink only champagne. There were like champagne trains in the other club. They had like 5 different champagne size bottles, and like these people bringing in these champagne trains, like. And it was just kept going. And then at some point I was like, I need to go home. And then I talked to another guy. He's like, yeah, we stayed till 2.
If you can find this place, they're just like, yeah, now eat.
It's like someone's paying for it. But because we were with the star DJ, we didn't pay for Jack. But of course, these guys that invited us, or I saw another guy from the other club. He had a table there. So of course these guys are balling, and they spend thousands there, I'm sure, but it does. So there were, of course, I saw it in my eyes, like there were always people like coming with a credit card thing, like, hey, like in beer, like, can we check this table? Okay, here, you bought the table, the bottle, boom, $2,000 here, $3,000 there, like, so it was big business in a way.
Wow.
But just to have clubs like this, and they feel like illegal because the whole experience
feels
illegal.
It reminds me of like that club in John Wick 1 where he goes in and it's like a secret
exactly
door.
That type of thing. Yeah. And this is how, like, that's what I mean, like, it's a film set, and this was real. And I forgot the Paper Street or whatever it was called.
Was it fun?
It's on that street. Yeah, of course it was fun. It was because like Shiro and me were like, whoa, we didn't expect this to be happening in Hong Kong now in this times, like. And the guys were almost like nonchalant about it. They're like, yeah, this is normal. We have lots of these clubs. Like, it's like it's nothing. It was nothing to them. They didn't act cool. It was just nothing to them. They're like,
right. It wasn't like they're not impressed.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, we just show you our little basement hangout. Like, we're like, whoa.
For us, it's like a 40-person room. Like,
I know, yeah. No, this is bigger. Like, there were hundreds of people in that club.
I know, but like in America, usually it's like a small thing. It's like 60 people is this cool thing. You're like, there it's like 4,000 people, like bottle service, neon.
But
Cyberpunk.
Underground, no one knows about it. From outside, it's unsuspected. You don't know. It's only if you know type of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
so you got to order the 2 cheeseburger meal at McDonald's. Then you get like...
I know. You get the extra code.
Yeah.
And then, I mean... But I have a next crazy story where we just came back from London. And London, talking Hong Kong and London is a close connection, obviously. London also is pretty still inspiring. I haven't been in London for a year or so.
I love London.
Yeah, it is so, like, it has so much music.
I'm an Anglophile.
Music culture.
I just like it.
Yeah, because it's like, if the weather's good in London, it's unbeatable, especially in summer, because like the whole vibe, the buildings, the just everything feels right. Of course, if it's drizzly and rainy, it's London, we expect it to be. But if the sun's out, people are out, and there's a good vibe. I mean, it's hard to beat London because, contrary to Berlin, it's just also very pretty. It has all these nice buildings. You have the water right there. These buildings, the whole atmosphere, and the whole city breathes culture and music in a way, right? Especially for a musician, I feel like every cab, everywhere you go, they play better music than everywhere else. It's cooler, it's different.
Music is always important.
Yeah, exactly. It's very important. Like, so if you hear like cheesy German Schlager music everywhere, like it doesn't create a vibe, like. But if you hear like a little bit reggae, a little bit dub, and then some R&B, some two-step, and some house, whatever, it's all like British cool stuff. It works. So London was also like 2 legendary things that we did. We sort of spent, like, me and a bunch of friends, we said like, okay, there's a Joplin show, but there's some other shows too. We're just gonna do like a London long weekender, catch a couple shows, but also have some meetings and hang out. So we also spent 5 days in London. So we came on a Friday, and then my mates from Bookershade, they played the legendary Fabric Club. Fabric's a club. It's like the Berghain of London. It's like one of the oldest legendary underground house techno clubs. I think it's been around 20 years or something. And it's also like very basement dungeon. We went there, like, I understand why it's been legendary, because like it's dark, it's gritty, it has crazy, it feels a little bit of like a maze, like, and you're in a different world. But also, like, the sad part of it was, like, it had to close down for a few years because it was a full-on crazy after-hour drug place too. So some people died in there, actually. I don't know why. I don't know exact story. So they had to do like really strict laws to reopen. And what happened was, so we met with the Bookershade guys at the hotel next door, and we're like, there's always the easiest way to enter any place is to go with the artist and the star, because you normally just walk straight in, or you go to a back entrance and straight into the green room or something. No, not with Fabric. So we go there. They check the guys, the Bookershade stars, and us too. And not only check, we're talking like full body check, airport style with the metal detectors and all that stuff. Then you had to give out like a real ID. They took a picture of your ID. Then you had to stand in front of like a photo thing. They took like another picture of you. Yeah, it's MI6. Took another picture of you. Then they checked your ID with the picture they took, if it's a match or not. so you can't sort of use a fake ID. And I just felt robbed of all my data, basically.
Yeah,
to go to a fucking club.
You're like, I'm German. We have laws to like stand over the air. We won the war.
Yeah. Exactly, and it was like, I was like, wow, and I mean, this was a little bit too much. I think someone explained it to me that it's because of some terrorist threats and stuff too in London. That always, but this was like really like, and we were treated nice because we were with the star. But I think if you just go there as a raver, it's like a lot to go through to go to a rave. You know, I would think twice if I even want to go there, because like this feels like not right, you know, like you just can't go anonymously to a place anymore, you know. So
no, you can't.
That felt really weird.
There's no anonymous. It's all tracked. Anywhere you bring your phone, they know.
Yeah, I know, but this was like officially ID picture. This is like going through into a different country, you know, like it was like a border control. More
smile, okay. Little camera, fingerprints.
So okay, it was worth it. We had fun, and I can tell that it's a special place, and I'm glad I sort of did it. And now I can say I've been to Fabric, but
yeah,
I mean, I was just a little shocked. And then the next day we went to a place called Drum Sheds. That was mind blowing. So Drum Sheds is run by the same guys that did Printworks. Everyone that's into clubbing and in Europe knows what this is. It's like a location in London, like looked like a cathedral. The biggest events for the last 5-6 years were held there. It was a legendary club, and what they did is they always look for spaces that are sort of being they repurpose spaces. So let's say like a company buys this space, but they know they're just going to start building in 3 years or 4 years, but they just bought it anyways. They cut a deal with that company to sort of say, hey, we can use this space, you get a cut, and we can just make it into a club. And then after 4 or 5 years, if you're ready to rebuild it into office buildings, whatever, then you take it back. You know, this is their business model, which is kind of clever, you know?
Yeah, it's like you're like interim collecting money.
Exactly, interim. Everyone's happy, and they can probably save on the rent. So it's interim clubbing.
And clubs concept. Go away anyway. You're like, oh, you missed it. It was cool.
I know, and then also it makes it like do you know these clubs are going to go away? I mean, I feel like Printworks had like FOMO. a year long like last party campaign, because everyone's like, okay, this is the real last party, they have to close down now, you know, and everyone's like so excited because it's like an artificial shortage, you know, type of thing.
Exactly.
Anyway, so these same people, what they did is like they found another interim place a little bit outside the city, and they repurposed an old IKEA. So imagine like an old IKEA and they just took the IKEA down, and they're doing day raves parties now. And so we went there. You have to get
in with the Allen key. They're like, this is your ticket.
Yeah, we went in. There's a big escalator, it's like, and then you go into the club, and there's a big warehouse, the main room 1, and we're talking 15,000 people fit in there. Yeah. And they put a whole sound system, laser system, light show, LED walls, screens back to back. Like it looks like a spaceship. Like basically.
IKEA chairs or no?
No, IKEA. Everything's. You don't see, if you didn't know that it's IKEA, you'd. The only thing that reminded me of IKEA is like, no matter where and we had like an all access band.
No matter where you go, you can't find the exit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you had to go. You always had to go in one circle. I was like, but I came from here. Like, no, keep walking. So they pushed everyone always. Like you can never walk back.
It's one direction.
You always have to walk it's one direction. It's like you always end up in a circle. And then
but then you're like, hey, meatballs.
Yeah, so I ended up, I think that night I checked, I had like 18,000 steps or something.
Wow.
Because I had to run around this place and look for people. So
you probably bought some furniture that you just don't know, it hasn't arrived yet.
I know, I bought a kitchen there. But this was mind-blowing because we were in the backstage. I looked out the window and there was literally like a grandma going to Costco at 3 p.m. And then you walk into the main room, there's 15,000 ravers fully on, raving to the devil's music, to techno and house, you know, like it
What's
was just
the devil's
like,
music?
Nah, I'm just saying, a lot of people say like techno is like the devil's music, whatever, because it's like, it sounds so hard and it's like, sounds like hell, you know, to them, especially to R&B hip hop people or whatever.
Right. Nobody listens to techno.
Nobody listens to techno. Exactly. See, turns out everyone listens to techno. So basically it was surreal because it's a daytime thing, but it's very clever. It starts at noon. At 10 p.m., headline is 8 to 10 p.m. 10 p.m. it's closed. It's over. So they do it every Saturday. It's sold out. It's a daytime festival, so to say. And also it was cold outside. The food courts are outside. But I have to say, the British people, they walk around in mini skirts, in t-shirts, and shorts, while I was freezing with a down jacket. And they're just like, for them, there's no cold weather. It's like mind blowing for me. Like you could tell that we were the Germans because we were the only ones like freezing our ass off with our jackets, and they were just walking around half naked and didn't care.
I thought it was like, we Germans must survive in all climates.
No, not me. So that was a mind blowing experience. And then also, I went to the next day. I had some meetings. A funny little story I just remembered. I met with this Italian manager that I know. I haven't seen him for a while. And he's like, you want to come? You should come to my boat. I'm like, okay, sure, boat. That's like a houseboat. I have my office there. I'm like, okay. So I went there. It was in the West
London?
In London, West London. And then I went there and I was like, this is a nice area. And it's like a boat that's basically doesn't move. It's been fixed there. It had he built a studio in it, but there's also a bedroom and you can stay there and work there. And it has a little office there. Then we talked a little bit, and then he's like, yeah, I used to live here, and then he's like, guess who this boat belongs to? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, Richard Branson. And this was where Virgin Records was founded and started on this boat.
But not anymore.
Not anymore, of course. But this is the actual boat where Richard Branson used to live and start Virgin Records. So that's he still owns it, and he rents it out for some friends or some people that he knows.
Oh, so he still owns it?
Yeah, he still owns it. So his landlord is Richard Branson. Yeah.
He's like, I'm a virgin. I live on this boat. I need to change my life.
Yeah, but I mean, I read the book Losing My Virginity, Richard Branson autobiography.
Is that what it's called?
It's Losing My Virginity. Yeah, that's what it's called. But it's actually good. I can recommend it because this guy is kind of very, very different, very cool. And I haven't met him, but it's like, I think he's a pretty cool bloke. But just to be on the same boat, I guess, I mean, it's all renovated now, but this is where the history was made, and Virgin and all that stuff. So there was a little funny anecdote.
Yeah, I mean, he's an epic, like one of the first big branding, like mega stars.
Yeah, and also one of the first guys to be, so where the brand becomes a personal brand. I think that's an interesting business story behind it. He was the first guy to be like, okay, Virgin is me. It's my face. I do these. Virgin doesn't do advertising, but I jump from a high air balloon. I do all these marketing stunts.
Yeah.
And it's all good for the brand Virgin because I am Virgin. I do this crazy stuff. And think about it. It's actually like he got so much press and so much stuff for very little money. Mark, a lot of reach for his brand. And he is the brand, So that was one of the first guys to do it this way.
Yeah, now it's like Elon Musk. There's no ads
now it's
for
Elon
Tesla.
Musk. All these, and then there was Steve Jobs, was Apple. They knew how to turn their personal lifestyle into the brand to become synonymous with the brand.
But Apple also did a lot of advertising. Like Tesla does no advertising.
True, yeah, I know. Elon Musk is.
But I guess
Tesla's
Virgin did advertising too. But yeah.
Yeah, but not in the beginning. I think the big things about Virgin you remember are the stunts that Richard Branson did.
And Virgin Records and Virgin Megastore.
Yeah, Virgin Megastore, Virgin Records, and Virgin Air and all that stuff.
And Virgin Airlines.
Yeah, Virgin Airlines. Yeah, of course.
That was a good airline. I flew it to London.
Yeah, it still exists, but only on some markets. I think they had to sort of shut some parts on, but I still think
they sold it to Alaska. I think
think so too. Yeah. But I flew it a couple times. It was really good. It was different. Yeah. The whole vibe, the light,
neon,
the music. It was really good shit.
I mean, I did a flight from LA to London, which is not a great flight, and it was pretty good.
Yeah. So, anyways, I wish they had different quality standards. But so this was my little Virgin story there. And then, I mean, there's another thing that happened last week. So Ken, my good buddy, Ken Sushi Kenogori, shout out. He actually said hey, when are you going to do the podcast again? I'm like, yeah, we're on it. So this is a shout out to you, Kenny. So he called me up. He's like, hey, want to go to this movie premiere? I'm like, what kind of movie? I'm like, I'm used to be a very movie buff, but not a lot of movies interest me anymore. He's like, no, it's this movie. No, it's this movie. It's coming out. It's a German production, so that's why you don't know it. And but it's about it's called Girl, You Know It's True. It's about the story of Milli Vanilli. I'm like, well, okay,
It's
that's
like
interesting.
There was a song, they didn't sing it. The end.
That's what you think, because I'm a little bit more involved, a little bit in the Milli Vanilli thing, because of I know two of the kids of Frank Farian, and Frank Farian, for those people who don't know, is the man behind Milli Vanilli, and he's also the man behind, and that's what the whole movie is about. Like, it's about, of course, the fake story of these two guys, then that they sold millions of records, even won a Grammy, and then the producer sort of had to let the cat out of the bag, but it's also about a story about this crazy producer from a little ass town in South Germany that dominated the world charts in a way, which is very unheard of in a way. So I think that's interesting. And that also, it's a story about the ruthlessness and about the music business in a way. As long as people make money, everyone's happy, everyone's like playing along, and the second it disappears, everyone leaves, like drops you like a hot potato.
The phone numbers change. You're like,
yeah. So it was a tough movie, and I'll get into it in a sec. But just the Frank
Farian, it was the first cancellation,
I guess. Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, back then it was a big thing, right? If you think about it now, I mean, who really sings live nowadays? Yeah. Not a lot of people, let's put it this way. Then in these not to down the K-pop groups or whatever, but who really sings there, and who knows if it's, and there's 8 guys in there, like maybe one guy can sing, the rest just fakes it, or maybe I'm sure there's a lot of studio singers there also involved, and background singers. That's just the nature of the game. Yeah. But he was an innovator, like Frank Farian, in the late 80s, to actually do it and to bring it to this level. And he didn't intend it to be that big, because he thought like, it's just a record, like the one song. But they had actually 3 number 1 records, to be fair, or 4, I think, from that album. But Girl, You Know It's True, it's the biggest one. And guess who wrote, just a little music trivia, guess who was the co-writer of Girl, You Know It's True and made his first million with it?
Max Martin?
No, Kevin Liles.
Oh.
Kevin Liles, the guy, the music executive that used to run with Leo Cohen.
Oh, really?
Because he was the one original, when he was like 20. He co-wrote the song "Girl, You Know It's True," and they stole the song, and not stole, but they ripped it, and kind of stole, but they never put down any publishing. But they sued and got a lot of. I mean, it was a number. They sold 20 million singles and some shit. And
wow.
So his first step into the career was getting a lawyer, getting publishing, but he didn't know about publishing. It's also in the movie, and Kevin Liles obviously became one of the biggest record executives.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, so for me neither, but I mean, he's still out there. I think if you
no
look
one
it
in
up,
the music business ever goes away. Just like
but this guy started with Milli Vanilli. That's how funny is that? And the story is basically, in a nutshell, because people don't know, because it's been a long time, but Frank Farian, he created Boney M. Boney M, I don't know if you know Boney M. It's not.
It rings a bell.
Mean, it was.
I think it was more Europe.
It was more Europe, but it was like massive in Europe. And then he never made it. But there was this thing, like it was a big European supergroup where he also sang, wrote, and produced all the stuff. Also, like, sort of a fake group. Then he's sort of, because this guy's highly musical and talented, but he just looks like a German dude, So, and then he created Milli Vanilli out of American, from the US barracks. Like, I grew up in Stuttgart. Like, he just recruited some writers, rappers, singers, and they wrote and sang all the stuff. And then they just booked 2 cool, good-looking dancers from this one club, P1 in Munich, And that was the 2 Milli Vanilli guys, Rob and Fab, And wow. They went on to sort of be the front face, and they just went along until like it sort of got too big, and then they had to sort of because there was some troubles between everyone, and then Frank Farian pulled the plug, right? But then after, Frank Farian did this group called No Mercy. Do you remember No Mercy?
Rings
Where
a bell.
do you go? Yeah, also 3 Latino guys out of Miami, also global, worldwide hits, this guy sold, I think it says like somewhere between 500 million records or something. And like
Wow.
this is by far the most successful German producer ever.
Where's he
he's
now?
Still alive. He lives in Miami. He's 80 something. And there's now like a US, this is just the German version now. There's now talks about like a Hollywood production about his life and Milli Vanilli and all that stuff, because and there's a documentary on Paramount right now about Milli Vanilli. That this all come together now because people are realizing, hey, this guy is quite something, like
yeah,
Frank
and there's
Farian,
a story there because like he ran a lot of the sound. Yeah.
And
there's drama and death. It's everything Hollywood likes.
Yeah, and then like the one guy from Milli Vanilli sadly committed suicide, like also 20 years ago. So there's only one guy left. Funny side story, of course. No, it's Fab. I don't know. They didn't call themselves. So I was basically hanging out with the guy from Milli Vanilli because with Ken has a good friend. You remember this group, Two Unlimited? No Limit. Yeah. So
Two Unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was hanging out with Two. No. Two Unlimited is a Dutch guy, super nice guy, Ray. So I was hanging out with I had
a Two Unlimited CD.
There you go. And these guys are still touring. He told me they do 100 shows a year in Europe because there's all these 90s parties with like Magic Affair, Culture Beat, Hathaway, Fun Factory, Two Unlimited, all these groups in 90s Euro trash, Euro dance.
Fun Factory.
They all do. That's Tony and Booyah music.
Booyah. That's Booyah, right?
That's the act that turned into Booyah Fun Factory later on.
Yeah.
So all these people are still around. They're still touring. They're still making their living.
They're still German.
They're still German. No, they're mostly Dutch and half American, blah, blah. So Ray introduced us to Fab because his best buddy's Fab from Milli Vanilli. Yeah. So we were all at the after party. We were hanging at the star table and having fun. And they just telling stories. And even in the movie, you could see like, they lived a crazy life. I mean, they went from 0 to 100 and then crashed back down, obviously. Now, of course, Fab, he sings quite decent, actually, and he has his little music projects. Of course, now he's celebrating. This is 30 years ago. The kids don't know about Milli Vanilli, but the story is still crazy. That
now he's got a song with Drake.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of, and this is all by sort of randomly going out that night, and I ended up going home at 4 a.m. and just partying with Two Unlimited and Milli Vanilli and Ken and then a bunch of people. There was
wow, and this is the episode, girl. You know it's true.
Girl, you know it's true. And the thing is, like, it's interesting because they trying to now bring back, because of TikTok, obviously. There's a story behind this. Like, all the catalogs are worth so much now, right? And now there's the business part. So that's why a lot of catalog, like, be it like, gets rediscovered. So of course they believe in the power of a song, and if there's some crazy dance move, whatever, and girl, so it's still a catchy song. It's a catchy hook. There's new remixes stuff. They're trying to revive. So Sony Music, in this case, trying to revive the whole back catalog. And of course, he then did some stuff for Sony Music. It's like, it's all catalog marketing, and the whole movie is basically a promotional tool for the catalog. Also, if you think about it. It's like, it's pretty clever in a way. And of course, like, the movie is good, but it's like, it's geared towards a very young kiddie Gen Z audience. I don't know if they will get it. I learned a few things in the movie. I mean, it's half documentary type of thing, which was interesting, but the most fascinating, because I know, as I said, the kids of a little bit of Frank Farian, is the way that one dude from a small ass town in South Germany, in Rossbach, Saarland, which is like where Marcus Walters is from, and basically it's that he ruled the world for decades and sold all these records and was the top producer and sort of hit something unique that worked globally.
I want to see his face. Is he in the doc?
He's in the, he's that movie that I went to. It's not a doc. It's like a real sort of movie. But I mean, there's gonna be a doc about him. There is one already. But Frank Farian, if you Google it,
so this is like a recasting of the.
Yeah, that's a recast. Like, it's real young actors. Like, it's a Hollywood. They're trying to make it a real movie.
Yeah.
But there's simultaneously, there's a documentary out there, and they're trying to make a new movie about Frank Farian now.
Nice.
Apparently, with big Hollywood casts, whatever. And so,
well, this will be your recommendation for this.
I don't know, like,
what to watch.
I was entertained by the movie. I don't know if it's gonna be a big success, but I had more fun after the movie hanging out with these real people. And like I told also the guy from Tour, I had the Tour Unlimited CD also because everyone had it. Who didn't?
Yeah,
it was a fun.
It was like the AOL
record.
CD and then the Tour Unlimited CD is like the most like.
Yeah, he said it was a global number one. Yeah. It's crazy.
All right, so you give it like a half thumbs up.
Yeah, it's you can't watch it anyways. It's geared towards the German market. It's only going to be released in Germany. I feel.
Really, I can't watch it.
Movie, you can't really watch it. I doubt it. No.
All right, if you're German, watch it.
Yeah, it's
I got my recommendation. If you need a show when you fly over here, Slow Horses. Have you heard of this with Gary Oldman? No. It's about MI5 in Gary London. Oldman. Speaking of,
nice.
He plays this like overweight, like kind of slovenly, like MI5 like boss who's like segregated to like a different area.
Isn't it called MI6? What's MI5?
MI5 is like the domestic one. MI6 is the international one.
So I didn't notice.
He might be the best actor of all time. Like he is so good. The cast is so good. I don't even want to tell you anything. Just like Slow Horses on Apple TV.
On Apple, okay, yeah.
It's a British show. It's incredible.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Like I don't binge stuff, and I watched 3 seasons over like one weekend.
Well, 3 seasons.
I mean, there's 6 episode seasons, but like
okay, yeah, but still, you know, like it's time consuming, but it's apparently it's worth it. Obviously, right? It has something.
Top notch, great for the flight. Yeah.
Okay, good, interesting. Yeah, I mean,
we did it.
So yeah, and Milli Vanilli was fun, and then I think. For the future, I think like we'll talk about it in the next. But I know like this is now like because it's probably the year end episode right now. I think it's good for everyone from my side also to reflect a little bit and to see like for me personally, I have to say like I'm still double checking what are your real strengths, what do you really want to do? You know, ask these tough questions. What is your role? How many roles do you have? Which roles can you sort of delegate and responsibilities? And then what tasks are like connected to each of these roles? You know, so I'm thinking about like some future stuff I want to do for next year. And I think it's always good to evaluate those things and to be like, okay, what really matters and where you're also good at, where you can sort of
lead with intention because you got otherwise you get pulled in different directions.
And
I think that's a good thing for this pod. So when we pick it back up, to really lead with intention, better at marketing, better at doing all those things. So it's a real purpose.
And it was just slowly getting into it again. I mean, it was this already a good thing, but what we can't forget is the German English, my friend.
Oh, do you have one?
Yeah, I have one. Yeah, of course.
Let's do it.
I came prepared.
Okay.
I think we didn't talk about. At least I can't remember saying it. If not, we'll find out, I guess. But so the German word, we always start with the word, right? And then I sort of explain it. So the German word is Backpfeifengesicht.
Backpfeifengesicht?
Yeah, Gesicht. So if you translate it literally, it would mean bagpipe slap face.
I love it. Bagpipe, slap face.
Slap face. So basically, Backpfeifen is like, it could be a bagpipe and Gesicht is like face. But what it means, like, if you have a Backpfeifengesicht, it's basically you have an annoying face and you get on people's nerve that much that people just want to fucking crazy just slap you, you know? Like
this is the best German English. I know like several people like this.
Exactly. Yeah, we all know that one person like, this face, I just want to slap it, you know, like because it's so annoying.
Well, in English, they say he's got a punchable face.
Yeah, so that's a punchable face, and in German, it's the bagpipe slap face.
Can you say it again?
Backpfeifengesicht.
Backpfeifengesicht.
Yeah, good, not bad. It's a hard word. Like it doesn't get much harder in German. Gesicht. Yeah, it means face. Yeah.
Pfeifen, is that like anything to do with pfeifen
like
again?
Pipe, no? Like no, it's like pipe, bagpipe. Oh. But also pfeifen, Backpfeife also means like in a slang term means like slapping someone's face. You know? Listen to Backpfeife, like a bang, you slap someone's face.
Okay, bitch slap.
Yeah, it's a bitch slap basically. It's a bitch slap face.
Bitch slap face. That's better.
Yeah, but bagpipe is also funny. Bagpipe slap face.
But like, does it mean like the actual like Scottish bagpipes?
I guess, yeah. Has a bagpipe.
So they don't like Scots.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, because it's sort of round and you want to punch it. I don't know.
Bagpipe face.
No, Backpfeife. I actually have to Google the origin why they call it this. I don't know. I think the word in Germany is already funny. Like if you say the German word, like no one really, I mean, people use it and they don't because it's sort of old school.
Do they laugh when they say it?
Yeah, it's funny. Like, it's funny. Like if I
say
now
it one more
say
time.
Like, Backpfeife. Backpfeifengesicht. Backpfeife is like the slap Gesicht. So it's like
for some reason that's not on my Duolingo.
Yeah, I know it's not. Of course, it can't be. That's like slang.
What if at the end of all this, I get so good that I can do an episode in German?
Yeah, you wish. Yeah, I'll send you how you actually write it. Backpfeifengesicht. Yeah.
I'm gonna call it right in episode 200. I'll do a all German app.
Yeah, that's
It'll
good. We'll
be
see.
Mostly me ordering falafel, but yeah, over and over.
Over and over alone. I wouldn't be in there. It's like screw this. No, cool. So I think we made it now. We talked for a long time. I think we got 2 apps maybe, but
yeah, or it'll be like a super people are dying and they just can't get enough long app.
Yeah, we'll see if it's gonna be 1 or 2.
Yeah,
but I feel like we covered quite a few things and brought everyone up to speed with everything, and I think what I'd love to talk to next time is about AI and AI music.
Can we do I'll do an AI episode with you this week. I can't wait.
Yeah, okay. I can because I'm sure like you have like some more thoughts, but I'm just looking at it on the perspective of music. But I think you got to look at the bigger scope of the cultural change of
it's like
what's it going to do. Like
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, I know with Gemini now. I just read about Gemini yesterday. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
I don't even know what that is, but maybe I'm not as obsessed as you.
Yeah, Google Gemini just came out a couple of days ago, and they showed a little demo. It's basically the next level AI where it watches you draw and see, and then it detects what you do and it gives us suggestions. So it's like like it's in real time. Like
is it Bob Ross's face, and he's just like, "Yeah, you suck. Draw better."
But it's like you should do this. This looks like a duck that you're drawing and stuff. So it's like it's in context now, in real time, knows what's going on.
Wow, it's over. We're done.
No, we're over. It's done. It's done. Yeah.
But I got our balance. But great catching up with you. I'm so glad we're back, and we'll talk soon. AI next time.
Cool.
Okay. Peace.
All right.
Techno.